Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Today is Wednesday, December 13, and as always, we bring to you news from our city, state, and country, and we look forward to your comments, ideas, and suggestions. We combine all this information and put it to good use in order to better connect with each other and with our community and our city here in Puerto Vallarta as a bunch of English-speaking locals. It is nice to be here today. It is nice to welcome you this morning, as always. Last night, I went to the movies and I laughed a lot. I'll tell you about that in a second. Just remind me because I didn't set it up. I just said that without thinking. But sure, I went to see Wonka. I think that was the name of the movie, Wonka. And it was really, really entertaining. Anyhow, as always, I welcome all of you, and I welcome those of you that are watching live for the first time. If that is your case, please write the word new in your comment. We'll give you a nice little welcome. And if you have something really important that you wish to share with everybody else, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. That way we can go looking for it later on in the broadcast. So let's jump to it. We start with news. And of course, yesterday we announced that Moderna, the pharmaceutical company, was readying COVID-19 shipments to Mexico in anticipation of the new allowance that was granted to Moderna and Pfizer to sell their vaccines in our country at the same time. Now we learned that Pfizer's first vaccine shipment is expected to arrive this week. But again, there is no specific information as to how these vaccines will be distributed and commercialized and what their cost will be to the consumer. It is worth mentioning, however, that Mexico is the first country in the Americas to provide simultaneous approval to 2 vaccines at once for commercial purposes. Again, we'll keep you posted as more details become available. Do you remember that initiative we told you about that was introduced by the Senate to reduce the work week in Mexico from 48 to 40 hours? Well, it hasn't gone away, but Congress has decided to table discussion of the law for possible approval until the next period of ordinary sessions, which will take place in February of 2024. Which reminds me, whatever happened to the discussion about cannabis legalization in Mexico? That one apparently is still in congressional limbo. We haven't heard or read anything about this in a while, so we assume it's still in the waiting list. And President López Obrador continues his very public fight against Mexico's judicial system after publicly shaming judges for earning way more money than the president. He is now shaming the judge who granted protection to a single restaurant that wanted to allow and sell vaping gear. So in his Monday press conference, López Obrador announced that he will introduce a reform before the year is over to ban vaping paraphernalia all over the country. So It was tried by senators and it didn't go very far. And now the president is getting into it. We'll keep you posted on that one. If you vape, just know that it's probably not very good for you. Just like many things are not good for you, but you know, you get what you get. Let's take a look at our weather forecast to see what's going on out there. And I bring it up on my screen and I don't know who Andre Brogger is, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name properly, but apparently he passed away. It is 26 degrees right now. Humidity is at 51. And our weather forecast for today says we're going to have a humid day with mostly cloudy skies, a high of 30 and a low of 20. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be a mostly cloudy day or a day with mostly cloudy skies, rather, with a high of 30 and a low of 21. And Friday, we can expect a humid day with clear skies throughout the day, a high of 30 and a low of 19. So we're looking at cool weather through the rest of the weekend, which is absolutely lovely. So let's take a look at what's next. What's next is selfish personal news. But as you know, I finished making a blanket or an Afghan of many colors, and I ended up with a little bit of extra yarn. And since Luna was claiming ownership of my blanket, I decided to make her own little star-shaped version. I put it on top of the bed, and she took to it quite on her own, which made me very, very happy. Of course, she's not going to wrap herself around it, but she can lie on top of it quite peacefully, and I am happy about that. Moving right along, if you've been looking for love in all the wrong places, maybe some coaching and dating service advice might come handy. And this afternoon, the Living Room Bookstore and Cafe in Marina Vallarta will be hosting a special event with bilingual love coach Claudia Mirabete, in case you want to attend this particular presentation. I will leave you all the details in the show notes as usual. And as I mentioned yesterday, Mayor Michel inaugurated Benemérito de las Américas Street in my neighborhood after the entire street was dug up and improved with hydraulic concrete. And since it is right around the corner, I decided to take a little walk after yesterday's broadcast to check it out. Take a look. Hello, we are standing on Vienna Street. We are 2 blocks away from Francisco Villa Avenue, but today we're headed in the opposite direction. You see, the government of Puerto Vallarta has just inaugurated a project. That was a loud motorcycle. The government of Puerto Vallarta has just inaugurated a street in my neighborhood, which is called La Vena. That's the name of the neighborhood, not the name of the street. The street is called Benemérito de las Américas, and as you will see on the map, it is one of the most important throughways in my neighborhood. The street has just been repaved. And I am curious to see the turnout. It was announced this morning in the papers, so we might as well go and have a look at what's going on to see if it is indeed ready for traffic or not. Sometimes the government will make these announcements, but things are not quite ready for showtime. But here we are. Let's have a look. Okay, so cars are running freely through it, so it must be officially ready. Now, this used to be a cobblestone street not too long ago. A couple of months ago, I think it was, when the government made the announcement. And they've made all kinds of improvements. For example, here, the corners have good handicap marked sidewalks. And there are some poles that prevent people from parking there when they're not supposed to.
They're never supposed to.
And I'm going to switch to the other sidewalk to see if I can get a little bit less contrast, because the sun is pointing right at me. Hopefully this will be a better image. And as usual, I'm going to walk on the street just to show you what's going on. Ay, cállate. And here we go. Now, if you're wondering about my neighborhood, it's still not gentrified, or at least it's still not horribly gentrified. There are a lot of Mexican families that live here, a lot of small businesses. And the street looks lovely. There's a cake shop here that I've never seen before. Today is not the day to stop by, but it's nice to know that it is there. Now, check it out. If I go back to the original pavement, if I just step into this street, which is Lisboa,
It's
you can
nasty.
see how the streets have just been cobblestoned, and most of the other streets in the neighborhood are. But thanks to this improvement, at least this one street will facilitate driving through this street. And this is one of the streets that is used by local buses, so it's a good thing that it provides better service.
Space
And
for
right
trees.
at this spot is where a lovely lady sets up her tacos at night. I hope that she's continuing with her work. Buenos dias. The sidewalks are new. The pavement is new. And it looks really, really nice.
And hopefully we'll have more streets like this one in the future throughout the city. It was quiet too. Very quiet. Did I just hear that bus screech? That's crazy.
Just a little convenience store right at that corner.
Michael Buford, it's always lovely to see you live. I hope you're doing great and that things are great at your restaurants.
This is funny because just yesterday I was trying to get somewhere with a friend who was driving us for an errand, and just yesterday at this time this street was closed to traffic. So this is a brand spanking new one.
Alrighty.
People are driving fast, so I won't be surprised if the government sets up some speed bumps along the way, which are either set in place to protect people or to prevent thieves from driving away, or both. Now, the street continues to the right here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, you're probably wondering about the name Benemérito de las Américas. What does that mean? Well, let's break it down. The name, or the word Benemérito, means a person that has done something good, or something memorable, or something important, so that person becomes highly regarded, or Benemérito. Now, many people can be a Benemérito, but there's only one Benemérito de las Américas, and that would be Benito Juarez, who was president of Mexico. And not only just president of Mexico, he was the first president of Mexico of Indian descent. And furthermore, he was the first president of Indian descent, or native descent, in all of the Americas. Now, this across the street was at some point a municipal market. Unfortunately, it has not functioned as such for many years. But there have been a couple of interesting restaurants across the street. I don't know if they're operating right now. One of them, for example, over there, is a taco place that is really, really popular. And I am 1 block away from Francisco Villa Avenue. And if you're wondering where this street ends up, you're going to find out shortly, because there is that OXXO on the right-hand side that is easy to recognize. And then on the left side, here in the corner, we have Los Muertos Brewing, which has its main branch in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, as you know. But Los Muertos Brewing is also located over here. ¿Qué están haciendo? Pasta para la pizza. This is Los Muertos Brewing, and as you can see, the local chefs are very busy preparing dough for pizza for later on today.
With boundless enthusiasm.
And this, of course, brings us to Francisco Villa Avenue. As you well know, the Libramiento is 2 blocks in that direction. So we've just kind of come around the block. Look at all the traffic. Today is Virgen de Guadalupe Day, and I wonder if that has anything to do with that. But now you see it again, a new street in my neighborhood. Hopefully this will improve the quality of life for the people that live along the Benemérito de las Américas street. And that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like this channel, to subscribe to it for more features such as this one. Have a great day.
And that was, oh, 2 of me. Hold on just a second. We don't want to see 2 of me. That was our quick and dirty dive into Benemérito de las Américas street. It turned out great, I should say. You know, we're constantly picking on the local government, but some things they do get right, and that's always worth mentioning. Now, 1 street at a time is not going to get us very far very quickly, but it's 1 more street that has been intervened, and that is a good thing. Now, let's take a look at your comments to see what you're up to this morning. I see a lot of good mornings, and I appreciate those as always. And I saw this new, and I put it on the screen a second ago. Hello, Maria. Welcome to the live broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you at our next get together, which will be winter or spring. I forget. We just had fall. Yes, we just had fall. So we're going to do winter. We don't know when exactly yet, but we look forward to meeting you. And thank you for joining us live. Let's see what else. Tinky, 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 tin, tin, tin. She is a pretty kitty. She is absolutely adorable. And I'm so glad that you're here, Logan, because you remind me of the fact that we went to the movies last night. We went to the movies last night to see Wonka. And I think I was so thoroughly entertained. I really needed a good laugh. And probably my favorite thing about the film, and this is no spoiler, so you don't have to worry, every character was so deliberately and thought of in detail. Like every character, no matter how big, how small, had a little quirk. And some of the quirks that some of these characters had were absolutely hysterical. We were laughing very, very hard. It was wonderful. So I highly recommend it. Good film to watch on the big screen as well. Let's see what else we have. I wanted to respond to something during the talk, but I kept interrupting myself. Ronald, no standing water on the street right now. We keep our fingers crossed for the next rain season, which is when we find out if the city did their homework properly. But so far, so good. And I'm very happy because it'll be a big improvement for my neighborhood. Mazel tov to Liz for passing your senior driver process this morning. Good for another 2 years. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Let's see what else. Oh, I just did. Thank you very much for that, then. Much appreciated. Chris says your walkabout videos are greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Chris. It is that time of the year where it's not too warm out there, and I'm happy to be walking again. Let's see. My pleasure, Pat. It is my neighborhood, and of course we are right across from Versalles. The only thing separating us from Versalles is Francisco Villa Avenue, and of course, last night when we were walking home from La Isla, from the movies, there's at least one or two new buildings or empty lots that are going to become new buildings, or lots or buildings where businesses have moved out, and you can see that if a group of 3 or 4 businesses has moved out in the same building, chances are another high rise is going to go up. So sooner or later, Versailles is going to get different. You know, it's just the nature of the beast. And some people may be looking at my neighborhood for affordable, convenient housing. And why not? It is a good neighborhood. And that's what we have for today. So let us wrap this up now. And let me wish you a wonderful Wednesday. I'm going to have a very mellow day today, and I'm looking forward to that. And tomorrow I'm having lunch with some dear friends that are visiting from out of town that are part of the cluster. So I'm looking forward to that as well. As for you, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to connect with you in the near future, maybe even tomorrow. So have a good one.